and Goliath Chapter 1. The mighty Goliath scene. The Valley of Elah, a dusty battlefield, stretches between two towering hills. Narrator. In the land of Israel, war raged between the Israelites and the Philistines. The Philistines had a terrifying champion, Goliath, a giant standing over 9 feet tall. Cut 2. Goliath, clad in gleaming bronze armor, stomping forward, shaking the ground. His massive spear glints in the sun. Goliath's booming voice, "Send out your strongest warrior. If he defeats me, we will be your servants. But if I win, you will serve us forever." Cut 2. The Israelites trembling. Their king, Saul, looking worried. Narrator. No one dared to fight Goliath. For 40 days, he roared his challenge, and for 40 days, Israel remained silent. Chapter 2. A shepherd's journey scene. A peaceful hillside, sheep grazing, birds chirping. Young David, a shepherd, watches over them. Narrator. Far away from the battlefield, a young shepherd named David tended his sheep. He wasn't a warrior, but he had a heart full of faith. Cut 2. David playing a harp, his sheep listening. David spots a lion sneaking toward his flock. David determined, "No harm shall come to my sheep." He swings his sling. A stone flies, hitting the lion. The beast flees. Narrator. David was fearless, for he trusted in God. Chapter 3. The king's problem scene. King Saul's tent. Worried soldiers whispering. Narrator. Meanwhile, in the Israelite camp, King Saul and his men were desperate. No one could defeat Goliath. David's father, Jesse, calls him, "Jesse, David, take food to your brothers at the battlefield." David grabs a basket and runs off eagerly. Chapter 4. The boyhood red scene. The battlefield. David arrives, his brothers scowling at him. David excited. What's happening? Goliath roars his challenge. David's eyes widen. David, why is no one fighting him? With God on our side, we cannot lose. The soldiers laugh. His eldest brother scoffs. Eliab, go home, little shepherd. But King Saul hears David's words and summons him. Chapter 5. A king's doubt scene. King Saul's royal tent. David stands before him. "David, I will fight Goliath." Saul shocked. "You are just a boy." David tells him about fighting lions and bears. "David, God protected me then. He will protect me now." Saul, sighing, nods and hands David his heavy armor. David struggles to walk in it, then removes it. "David, I don't need this. I only need my sling and my faith." Chapter 6. 5. Smooth stone scene. A quiet brook. David kneels, selecting 5 smooth stones. Narrator. David chose 5 stones, placed them in his pouch, and marched toward the battlefield. Cut 2. The Philistine army laughing. Goliath sneering as David approaches. Goliath mocking, "Am I a dog that you come at me with sticks?" David grips his sling. "David, you come with a sword and spear." "I come in the name of the Lord." Chapter 7. The battle begins scene. Tension fills the air. The Israelites hold their breaths. Goliath roars, raising his spear. David runs toward him, loading a stone into his sling. Narrator. With one swift motion, David swung his sling. Chapter 8. The giant fell scene. A single stone flying through the air, slow motion effect. The stone strikes Goliath's forehead. The giant's eyes widen. Goliath stumbles, then crashes to the ground. The Philistines gasp in shock. The Israelites erupt in cheers. Narrator, against all odds, the shepherd boy defeated the giant. Chapter 9. Victory for Israelites. The Philistine army panics and flees. Narrator, seeing their champion defeated, the Philistines ran for their lives. The Israelites chase them, reclaiming victory. King Saul and his men celebrate. Saul, who is this brave young man? David smiles, looking up at the sky. Chapter 10. A future king scene. The palace. David stands before Saul, who looks at him with admiration. Saul, you are more than a shepherd. You are a warrior chosen by God. David bows, but his journey is only beginning. Narrator, one day, this shepherd boy would become King David, ruler of Israel.